All right, we got the whey protein here. My muscles are so fatigued over the past couple of weeks because I haven't been going to the gym, and so got to get back into the habit. Whey protein in the morning and whey protein after my workout. All right, guys. Today we're gonna do some assembly of these dragon eggs. So basically, right, we have like these bins full of. Well, most of these are empty now, but basically we have all these bins full of dragon eggs and colors, styles. So basically we have to assemble these and show them. Let me show you, I guess, a behind the scenes of how we assemble these. Pretty straightforward, right? So I'm doing a batch of blue-green gemstone dragons. So I have all the colors separated here. We have our heat gun at our pack station, and we just heat gun these just to take off all these little like wisps and hairs. So just nuke it with the heat gun and the wisps come right off. So let me just do this real quick. So just like that, and then we do like a stress test. So like these, typically along the tails here, we want to just wiggle the tails, pull it a little bit, make sure that it's not going to come off. The head and the legs as well. So do a little wiggle, 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 make sure everything's fine, and if everything's good, we just put them right into the egg, like so. And then we close the egg. So with these eggs, I don't know if you can see from here, but obviously it's dual color. This is blue-green. There are some times where the top doesn't match, like the top won't line up perfectly. So like maybe it'll have it'll look like this, and so we have to mix and match the tops to make sure that they align somewhat good, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but like this is pretty good, and that's just because of the twist and closure mechanism on these eggs. It's not like ones where you just put on top, but these are twist and closed, and so like they don't move. And then once this is done, we have all these boxes here. Blue-green goes right in there. And then all these down here are good to go to be packed and sent out to either Amazon, Walmart, or customer orders. And so yeah, I'll be doing that for a little bit today. By the way, this shit is very time consuming. This is what I mean by like 3D printing in general is a very hands-on and time-consuming business. I've been doing this for half an hour. I still have all these dragons to prepare and assemble. All these over here. Luckily, I have Evan here managing the print farm while I do some of this stuff. But yeah, when you get to this scale, it's not very fun. You definitely need help. Employees, friends and family to help. Just like assembling these dragons is very, very time-consuming. So yeah, I mean, we're doing the work now so that in Q4 we'll be ready for sales, hopefully. So it's all about like preparation ahead of time. And so I'm fairly confident that, like I said, what we're doing now is going to set us up for success in the next several months. So these guys were supposed to pick up my dumpster on Friday. It's been a week and my dumpster still hasn't been picked up. Today is actually Friday, so I'm curious to see if this is the guy that's going to come and pick up my dumpster. If not, I'm going to go complain and try to get a refund for a week. But my dumpster is currently full of trash. And nope, there he goes. All right, let me take a quick minute to discuss these racks that I have. I get comments about these racks all the time and the reason I have these racks. So let me give you my 2 cents on these racks. So obviously I had a lot of these racks originally in the basement of my home. If you go back and look at my earlier videos, I had my print farm in the basement of my home. I had about 20 printers consisting of Prusa Mark III's printers, and I had the ceiling in my basement was only about, I think, 7 feet high. So basically with this rack setup, my ceiling was right there. So these racks kind of fit perfectly into my space in my basement, just enough where I could fit a printer on the 3rd row up here and not have it touch the ceiling for the most part. So when I moved into this space, I kind of just kept the same racks. I had about, I don't know, I want to say maybe 8 racks already in my basement. So I kept with the original 8 racks. This was actually my first rack that I built here in the space. And so this rack specifically is spaced out this way because of the AMS units. You'll see that down here I have 4 P1S printers with the AMS, and it's spaced this way basically perfectly so that I can open up the AMS unit on top without it actually touching the shelf. So that was the reason why this shelf is like this. And what I guess I really don't like is that I wish I could have had enough clearance to fit another row on top here, or another shelf on top, so that I could store filament on top. And so going over here, the same dilemma, but basically these racks are spaced perfectly so that I could fit 3 rows of printer. So basically I started at the bottom, and then I put the printers on, see how much space I had for the second shelf, put the printers on the second shelf, and then built out the third shelf. And again, unfortunately, there's not enough clearance on the top here to put another shelf here to put plastic on top, which kind of sucked, because when I moved into this space, if you can see, I have probably, I don't know, 14-foot ceilings. The space up here is kind of useless anyways, because I would need like a step ladder or something if I got like these commercial pallet racks for these printers, like that go all the way up to the ceiling. I really wouldn't be able to use the space up top anyways. But anyways, these are 77-inch muscle racks. They're 77 inches wide. You can get these in like 3 or 5 tier storage, or 3 or 4 maybe shelf storage systems. And you can get these pretty much anywhere. Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco, BJ's, Walmart. They all carry a similar style rack. You know, some of them are called muscle racks. Some of them are called, you know, other, like Esdell, I think is the Walmart brand. They're all different types of brands, but if you just Google 77-inch wide muscle racks, you'll get results for exactly these racks. So all of these P1P printers here are housed on these racks. And then I had an idea of getting these racks here. You can see that they're a little bit different. They're not like a wire rack system. These I also bought from Costco, and I'm able to fit 2 on each row. So 2, 2, and 2. So you'll see here that there's 2 bays here. There's one here and one here. So this is not one unit. This is 2 separate standalone shelving units. And the reason I got these is because, as you can see, I'm able to fit these where there's a shelf on top, and on top I can basically fit other things to use up the space up there. So like plastic, bins for product. You'll see in a little bit how we have the other rack set up. And the idea was to just store like plastic on top of these and whatnot. So these again are from Costco. They're like these are like 80 bucks each. I forgot the name of these, but these are like 5-tier. I don't know if these are Wayland branded storage systems, but or storage racks, but that's what they are. And so over here, when I built the A1 racks, kind of the same mentality. I wanted to keep with the 77-inch racks here. But before I bought these, I basically measured out how the system would be with the A1 printers and then the AMS units side by side. And I wanted again to have this shelf here so that I could put plastic on top and other things, right? Not just plastic, but just storage in general on top, so I wasn't wasting the vertical space here at the warehouse. So everything kind of worked out, and so that's the reason why I use these shelves for the most part. And you'll see that, yes, this is just cardboard that I cut up from the Bamboo Lab boxes. They work perfectly fine. A lot of people ask about like the vibration and whatnot. The vibration is not terrible. I mean, it vibrates a little bit, but honestly, it doesn't really affect the prints at all to where I need to like do something crazy, like cut out MDF boards or do anything crazy. Like the cardboard is perfectly fine. It's not the prettiest, but you know, it's free, it's cheap. That's just a little for your questions on the types of racks that I have. Also, you also see that Evan actually printed out these holders that fit perfectly onto each of these columns here. We put our IPA alcohol, eggs, tools for like to fix like clogs and stuff. And so, all right guys, we're at the warehouse, and pro tip of the day, someone left a comment. I don't know who it was, but shout out to the person who told me this. Basically, I have this, I was gonna get a rolling cart off like, go to like Home Depot or whatnot. It was like 150 bucks. I was like, fuck that. We have these, I bought these a while ago from Costco, and these are just like the wire shelving racks on wheels. And basically I had a bunch of these bubble wrap bags on here and just sitting in the corner, at the corner of the warehouse doing nothing. So what I did was I took the advice of somebody, and instead of getting a cart, I'm just gonna roll this around while we go. Like I'm gonna fill this up with plastic first of all, like all the different types of colors that we use, plastic that we're printing with, and just roll it down as I you know, take stuff off the build plate. So we'll fill this up with like bins. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it this high. I might take off the top 2 tiers and just use the bottom 2. We'll see how that goes, but basically this will just, save time for me running back and forth. I'll show Evan this when next week. Instead of us having to go back and forth every time we need plastic, it'll just save a lot of time just walking around the warehouse. So shout out to the person that gave me that tip. All right, so not gonna lie, overall this actually came up pretty well. So I basically just lugged this cart around, and so on the top we have all empty boxes, and then this shelf was just all of the other colors that I use, so like all the colors that I'm currently printing with. And so you saw in the video that basically if a printer was running, if a printer ran out of plastic, I just came here and replaced the spools. These two shelves here were just bins of products. So the good thing about this is I guess I can separate them as I'm taking them off the build plate, so I don't have to do that later. And then down here I have these two bins were trash, and then this was another bin of products. So I think overall I just did the entire row of P1P printers and the X1 Carbon and the A1 printers all around the perimeter of the warehouse, and I think lugging this around saved a lot of time. It saved a lot of like just going back and forth to the garbage, getting filament in specific, because we have filament all over the place. So this rolling shelf saved a lot of time. And so what I'll do now is I'll just go and dump all of this into their respective bins, and then those are ready for assembly. So I'll just lug this guy over here, and then I'll dump the garbage into the garbage, and then each of these bins will go into, for each specific dragon that I just took off the shelf, will just go into these bins here. And yeah, I think this saved a lot of time. I did this myself. It probably took about maybe half an hour to restart, what was it, like 60 or 70 printers. The only thing we have to do now is the middle A1 printers. So I'll do that myself. That shouldn't take another half hour. So to restart 127 printers by myself probably takes about, when I say on average, probably an hour and 15 to an hour and a half, depending on how many printers have issues like clogs. So far, I came in, all of the printers around the perimeter of the warehouse had no clogs, no issues, no print failures, which is amazing. So we're gonna go on to the A1s, and usually with the A1s it's just, plastic ran out or there's a clog. But overall, for just myself, it takes about, I would say, an hour and 15 to restart 127 printers. But this rolling cart definitely saves a ton of time, just putting the plastic on it, having a space for having separate bins for each specific product that we're selling, so that we don't have to go back and reorganize them later. So I love that I got this idea from the community and you guys commenting on my videos. So I thank you guys for that pro tip, and I think that's gonna do it for today. All right, going through the rack of A1 combo printers. So we switched over all of these A1s to print just the eggs in specific colors. And so what I'm going to start going through is basically filling up the AMS unit with the same spools, with the same color spools. And like I said, if you go into the AMS and you go under filament here, and as long as all of them are the same color, so here they're all orange on the screen, that doesn't matter, even though the rolls are a different color. As long as they are all the same color here, basically what it will do is when slot 2 runs out, it'll go to slot 3. When slot 3 goes out, it'll run to slot 4, etc. So basically, when you print a file, if you do a batch of unicorn eggs, for instance, you can select which one you want to start with. So in my case, I'm going to start with 2, just because 2 is about to run out, and I just want to obviously use up that filament. And so because they're all set to the same color, once this runs out, it'll go onto the next one, and so forth. Pretty self-explanatory, but if you guys didn't know, that is one of the huge benefits that I like about the A1, is that you can just constantly print, and you typically won't have any downtime with these printers, with the exception of, you probably can't see it, but at the end of this roll, the filament is basically clipped onto the plastic, and sometimes it doesn't, the filament is stuck to the roll, and it'll just cause the printer to pause and tell you that there's an error because it's stuck. So that's the only case where it doesn't continuously print. And here is a perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. You see how this filament is just stuck, and I have an error message saying that unable to feed filament into the extruder. And that's because the way these spools are down, there's like this clip, just gets stuck to the end of the filament roll. So that's the only time where it will not continuously print. Now this one obviously doesn't have the same roll, more rolls. So I just have to fix this and add more filament. All right, so this is the setup in the basement of my home. This is my computer setup and the chair that I sit in when I edit my YouTube videos. This chair, after sitting in it for an hour or two, hurts the shit out of my back and my butt. So I went over to Costco and I got this True Innovations mesh chair. So let's get this set up. All right, all set up. This should drastically help my back down here and say goodbye to the folding chairs. By the way, if anybody knows what this is, feel free to drop a comment. Yeah, there we go.